Hello and welcome to today's edition of the Issues on Voice of the People TV. I am your host, Jerry Apelihai. Here on the Issues, we dive deep into the topics that impact our daily life as our team of seasoned analysts provides in-depth insight and thorough overviews of the matters that matter most. Join us as we explore the complicated discussions shaping our society and arm you with expert perspectives to navigate the road ahead. Stay tuned for an engaging and informative episode. We start out the show today talking about the presidency, which has refuted claims that President Bola Tinubu requested the resignation of the Central Bank of Nigerian Governor Olayemi Cardoso due to the continued devaluation of the naira. Several reports online claimed that President Tinubu had ordered Cardoso to resign his appointment as the CBN governor owing to his inability to stop the poor performance of the economy, most especially the free fall of the country's currency, the naira. Away from that, where the coalition of energy reforms lawyers and activists, SELA, has accused the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, of plotting to undermine local refineries. The coalition, which held a press conference in Abuja today, alleged that NNPCL is not being transparent in its dealings with the Dangote refinery. Away from that, where a new plot to remove Emir Mohammed Sanusi II from his position in Kano State has been uncovered, according to sources within the Kofa Kudu Palace. The plot is allegedly being orchestrated by powerful individuals in Kano, led by All Progressive Congress APC National Chairman Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, who is reportedly seeking to secure President Bola Tinubu's backing to oust Emir Sanusi. And away from that, where the Independent National Electoral Commission has rejected Julius Abure's claim to remain the national chairman of the Labour Party, describing it as illegal and unconstitutional. The Commission made these statements in a counter affidavit filed in response to a lawsuit brought by the Labour Party. Still more, where the Minister of State for Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, has described President Bola Tinubu as an epitome of wealth with no interest in looting the country's resources. Olawande made the statement during the Joint Union Negotiating Council's week of the Federal Ministry of Youth Development branch in Abuja. All right, after this short break, we'll dig deeper into these topics and more. Don't go away as we continue our exploration. Welcome back. Let's now delve into the heart of our discussion. We started off earlier by talking about the presidency, which has refuted claims that President Bola Tinubu requested the resignation of the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Emir due to the continued devaluation of Naira. Several reports online claim that President Tinubu had ordered Cardoso to resign his appointment as the CBN governor owing to his inability to stop the poor performance of the economy, most especially the free fall of the country's currency, the Naira. The reports have said the president gave the marching order to Cardoso before he left Nigeria for China. The report further stated that several Yoruba elders begged the president to reconsider his position and give Cardoso another chance to revive the economy, but Tinubu shunned the pleas. Up to 970 naira to $1 in the early hours of Tuesday the following day, this situation has now become worse, as $1 is currently being exchanged with over 1,600 naira in the forex market. However, the special advisor to President Tinubu on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ganduje, said there has been no such request. Bayo wrote, and I quote, "It's all lies. President Tinubu has not asked Yemi Cardoso to resign." Today, I'm delighted to be joined by an esteemed guest. Here in the studio, we have Mr. Peter Anosike. Mr. Anosike is a philosopher, development economist, and best-selling author. He is also an erudite commentator on economy, finance, politics, and power. Welcome, Mr. Anosike. It's a pleasure to have your insight on the program today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, quickly, let's go to the conversation. How does the denial for President Tinubu impact public trust in the central bank's ability to manage the Naira crisis?
Well, when I read that report, I told myself that it cannot be true. That's what I told myself, because Tinubu's appointment was never based on competence. Rather, it was based on relationship. And Cardoso has been with Tinubu for more than 30 years now. So I don't think that Tinubu would easily sacrifice him. But the truth is that the Naira has not done well. And there's no way that Cardoso would, with his hand, hold the Naira from funding. He cannot do that. It is the policies and programs of the president is wrong. That's why the Naira is falling and will continue to fall. The Naira is not standing on anything. As long as you are import dependent, you cannot control the value of your Naira. External factors will always contribute to the rise and fall of your Naira. So that's what is happening at the moment. Because one, we are not producing, we are not exporting. We are not even doing business with our own currency. So there's no way the Naira will not continue to be funding. An instance, once you are complying with the IMF policies, which are three: removing subsidy, devaluing your currency, and stopping social welfare. These are the three conditions that you must meet for you to qualify for IMF loans. Number one, you must remove subsidy. Number two, you must devalue your currency. So, once you accept, no country that is working with IMF policy that has a strong currency, none. So what the deceive Nigeria as floating the Naira simply means devaluing the Naira. And it started in 1986 by Babangida when he introduced SAP, Structural Adjustment Program. SAP was an IMF policy. And that time, they told Babangida, for you to accept our for us to give you money, you must devalue your currency. So, and in order to do that, Tinubu has to devalue our currency. And since then, the currency has not stabilized up till now. So it's not really Cardoso's fault. Cardoso was even using our external reserve to be supporting the Naira. Then I told Nigerians that this cannot work.
But who was giving these advices to adopt the IMF policy? Was it not Cardoso and the coordinating minister, for instance, Wale Edun? And of course, if Cardoso had rejected the move, would it have not been easy to say no? Or some would say because he was appointed late after that policy was taken, that could be the reason why you could say he should save face. But if there's any truth that he actually gave the president assurances that by May, the dollar at least will fall down to 700 naira to a dollar.
It cannot be, because one, Cardoso, one day all of them knows the conditions to access IMF loans. I'm not in government, but I know these conditions. So they who are of age also know these conditions. One day and Cardoso have been with Tinubu for over 30 years now. So they were also of age under the Babangida administration when Babangida devalued our currency and introduced a structural adjustment program. So none of them knows this. But IMF think for you when you cannot think for yourself. World Bank think for you when you cannot think for yourself. So it is those who have no brain to think that uses the IMF policies. But they will also give you their own conditions, which you must abide by to qualify for that loan. So that's what is happening. So until we begin to produce, which I'm not seeing happening even in the next 20 years, until we begin to import, which I'm not seeing happening in the next 20 years, until we begin to do business with our own money, Naira can never be strong. So Tinubu shouldn't use Cardoso as a scapegoat. Cardoso is not the problem. His policies are the problem.
Who advises him on those policies? Is the CBN governor not part of the economic team that advises the presidency on what to do, on what best practices to carry out in terms of making sure that the dollar...
He should say no.
So what if the advice given by the CBN governor, of which he said yes to, is not showing results? Is it not in his own right to say, Cardoso, you take a bow, let me get somebody who will give me the better advice and better result from that advice?
There's emotion to all things, even in government.
Okay.
You have to ask yourself, who is this man? At times, people hire who they cannot fire.
You think?
And Cardoso is one of those that Tinubu cannot fire.
You think? We've seen situations where those who are loyal to the president get fired or reshuffled from one position to the other. Of course, we've heard of several appointments like that have changed hands, even as part of their loyalty back from the days of election.
Under which government?
When those who have not fulfilled the promises.
Under which government are you talking about?
We are talking. This government is just 1 year.
How many people did Buhari sack in 8 years?
Of course, Buhari's government was just an exception due to the fact that
this one is going to defy science too. Wow. Not just logic, but science.
All right. And of course, you believe that Tinubu should still toe the line in spite of the fact that the advice is coming from the CBN governor might not be giving results because it looks like the dollar might be 2,000 before the year runs out.
The Naira is standing on nothing. It is not standing on anything. Therefore, that's why it's on a free fall. It's not. We are not producing. We are not exporting. We are not producing. We are not exporting. So the Naira will continue to dangle up and down until we begin to to produce and then export, and begin to do business with our own currency. Because in Nigeria, some landlords still charge in foreign currency. Some hotels still charge their rooms in foreign currency. And all this thing weakens our own naira.
All right, taking a look at what are the potential effects of the Nigerian economy and ordinary citizens if the naira's value continues to fall despite the central bank's efforts?
Well, it means that your money will continue to become worthless. I saw a video of somebody, of a Ghanaian, changing a 500 CD and it become 20,000 naira. That's time. So that shows you the situation that our money is now becoming like a Zimbabwean currency under Robert Mugabe.
All right, taking a look at the situation of Yemi Cardoso, Yemi Cardoso, if I want to be broad there. How might the reported pressure on the governor affect his effectiveness in implementing policies to stabilize the currency? Because whether you like it or not, if you are Yemi Cardoso, with this information going out, truth or not, let's say it is true, and the presidency had to come out, definitely, sometimes Onanuga, I don't want to say it's the presidency, but Onanuga says it's not true and so on and so forth. That's all lies. We've seen Onanuga tell us this and it's something else that eventually happens. So, taking a cue from this, if you are Yemi Cardoso, how would you feel? And what should be your next line of action to save your job?
But he had no answer to this. That's the truth. Cardoso had no answer to the free fall of the naira. He had done what he felt he should do. That's using our reserve to support it, which I knew was a wrong policy, and I said it then that it doesn't happen. The naira is hanging on the air. Nothing is under it. So bring all the reserves in the world, it will still... I said that one day Cardoso will get tired and naira will go to where it belongs, because what we are getting there was the artificial value of the naira. I said it. What will make our naira to stabilize when we are not when we are import or dependent, when we are not producing and exporting?
But this has always been the case. Even prior to talking about Buhari's era, we are always a consuming nation, and we are always importing most of the consumption here. So what is different from Buhari's time and the past government that they are not doing that?
Let me start with the Jonathan's administration.
Okay.
Remember that most of the multinational exited Nigeria under Buhari administration.
Okay.
So before then, what were they doing in Nigeria? Manufacturing.
Okay.
So which means when you are producing, your currency is strong. Those companies were manufacturing here and exporting to maybe neighboring countries. This helped to strengthen your naira. So under the Jonathan administration, Nigeria was producing. But since Buhari up to now, we are no more producing.
Are you saying all the companies have left? There are no more companies that are producing in Nigeria?
How many of them are producing now? How many of them are producing now?
Okay.
So, within that's within 2014 and now, that's more than 350 companies have failed in the country. And these are companies that we are manufacturing and exporting. So you cannot compare then and now. Now our naira is on a free fall, and we continue to be on a free fall. So I'm not trying to hold a brief for Cardoso, but this is beyond him.
So you mean that he will just be there for the next remainder of the first term or the
or
next
even
8
second
years.
term, or even second term.
And he will not be effective. Nothing will be coming from him. He will just be answering CBN governor with nothing to show for it. Because can you say the same for past CBN governors? Even though Emefiele was involved in a lot of allegations of corruption and so on and so forth, the dollar, of course, had a lot of hits during his time, but it didn't get this worse.
Because the things are getting worse now.
Okay,
Things are getting worse now. Under Buhari, the economy was suffering from malaria. Under Tinubu, is suffering from stage 4 cancer. So it is not the same thing.
okay, let's go back to Obasanjo when he came in 1999. Prior to then, it was when Abacha died, Abdulsalam came on board, and of course it was a short period of time before the elections in 1999. We know Nigeria was going to make sure we're not having what we're having at the moment.
But if you bring Sondudo right now and make him CBN governor, the same thing will still continue to happen.
Okay, what did Obasanjo do differently?
Okay, you cannot compare then and now.
Okay.
One, Obasanjo was able to use technocrats, people that he did not even know before.
Based on their CV.
He brought them on merit. But these people now, Tinubu did not bring his own on merit.
So you're saying Kodoso does not merit the position of the CBN governor?
He is an amateur in that office.
Alongside Wale Edun?
He is an amateur in that office.
So you're saying the presidency is bringing in quacks to run the economy?
I said the appointments were not based on competence, but on relationship. These are the people who I have been with, who I understand. It is them that I can comfortably work with.
At the detriment of getting it right?
It is not based on merit. Sonudo did not know Konjo Iwana when Tinubu, Obasanjo did not know Konjo Iwana when he appointed her minister. He did not know Dora Kuyini when he appointed her DG of NAFDAC, and so on and so forth. So all those things, it's better that appointment is made by recommendations. Understand me? It is better. Now, there are positions that must come by recommendations from the track record of those people. These people in Tinubu's government, what are their track records that qualify them to be in these positions? What are their track records? Understand me?
So your track record does not merit the positions they are actually occupying.
That's a fact.
Appointment made on settlement?
Based on relationship. Let me give you that an instance. In the 90s, Dora Kuyini was among a team that went abroad. As they were going, they were given an ESTA code. That is transport and allowance for the expenses and so on and so forth. So when the Rakuyine come back, he returned the money that she did not use there back to government. That was in the 90s under the army. So when Buhari set up NAFDAC, because drug is a very corruption-ridden business, he wanted a corrupt-free person, a courageous person that can do that. Somebody told Obasanjo, see what happened there some time ago, that this woman returned money to federal government. Obasanjo said, go and bring her. He's the type of person that I'm looking for. That was how Dora was made the DG of NAFDAC.
What an interesting.
So there's a track record. Understand me? What is the track record of those that are working with Tinubu at this point in time, except that they were with him when he was in Lagos State as a governor?
Are we saying we are still going to see something similar to Buhari's era, where a lot of ministers and a lot of appointments were made on sentiment and they were allowed to stay there for 8 years without bringing out any results.
Okay. As a journalist in 2015, there was a time that Nai Mohammed called a kind of an interaction with a senior journalist. I was there, so people were asking questions. I asked him, excuse me, sir, who and who does Tinubu take orders from? Understand me? Because I want to know people beyond what everybody knows. Who and who does Tinubu take orders from? Who and who do you think can tell Tinubu sit down and Tinubu will sit down? So he mentioned Anthony Okegie. Understand me? He mentioned Anthony Okogie and this Pastor Enoch Adeboye. So I now asked him, what of Buhari? He said that Buhari preferred his old circle of friends. Understand me? That was before the 2015 election. And what Nai Mohammed said became true. Because the people that Buhari appointed were those his old circle of friends. Which means the appointment was never based on merit.
All right, let's go to the next conversation because of time, where the coalition of energy reforms lawyers and activists, SELA, has accused the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, of plotting to undermine local refineries. The coalition, which held a press conference in Abuja today, alleged that NNPCL is not being transparent in its dealings with the Dangote refinery. The controversy surrounds the price of petrol premium motor spirit PMS purchased by NNPCL from Dangote refinery. NNPCL had claimed that it bought the product at 898 naira per litre, but Dangote Group spokesperson Anthony Chejina disputed this, stating that the product was sold to NNPCL in dollars at a lower price. And Sellers Governor Okwa Dan accused NNPCL of trying to frustrate local refineries and perpetrate failed subsidy scams by spreading misinformation about the price of PMS. He claimed that NNPCL's actions are designed to create an impression that importing PMS is cheaper than producing it locally. The coalition believes that NNPCL is benefiting from the fuel subsidy scam and is refusing to allow local refineries to operate because it would end their fraudulent activities. Seller threatened to take legal action against NNPCL and the federal government if they do not address the issue of transparency and accountability. Meanwhile, senior advocate of Nigerian human rights activist Femi Falana has said it is illegal for the state oil company NNPCL to determine prices of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, after deregulation. All right, going over to Mr. Sanusi, how does the alleged price manipulation by NNPCL impact ordinary Nigerians, particularly in terms of fuel prices and cost of living?
Well, the truth is that NNPCL is not transparent, Dangote is not transparent. NNPCL gave a figure that they bought from Dangote, 898. Dangote said that they sold in dollars at a lower price. How much?
Tell us.
Why didn't Dangote tell us how much they bought that they sold to NNPCL? So which means Dangote is also hiding things too. Dangote is not transparent. Then on the issue of what is happening in NNPCL is a matter of business interest. Because if Dangote starts sending his fuel to Nigerians, it means that the tank farm owners, the depot owners are out of business.
Okay.
So these people cannot fold hands and watch their source of income being pushed outside. So NNPCL is also fighting on their behalf, because most of these people have more tank farm, more storage facility than NNPCL. Even the net Ifeanyi, his tank farm is more than that of NNPC. And when these fuel are imported, they are being stored in these tank farms and will then begin that to sell to petroleum marketers. So when importation stops, it means that these tank farms will all be out of business. That's the reason why NNPC is fighting.
But how would it be? How do we understand that before now, the prices at the filling stations is cheaper than the prices they are buying from Dangote, being the fact that the prices before now were all imported, and they told us that they were not paying subsidy because we want to believe them now. And all of a sudden, they're buying from Dangote, the prices are different and even higher.
No, it's manipulation.
From who?
NNPC.
Okay, so that means, can they be trusted with all the manipulations?
Nobody should be trusted. Dangote shouldn't be trusted, and NPC shouldn't be trusted. Both of them are hiding things from the Nigerian masses.
At the detriment of Nigerians. So that means it looks like Nigerians have been shortchanged.
No, Nigerians have been a victim of the big people in the country. Nigerian masses have been victims. They have been spent forces. Now, if Dangote is sincere, he will have told Nigerians, this is how much I sold to NNPCL. So this increment is not from us, rather it is from them. What they did by making the Dangote own higher than the imported one is let the importation continue. That it's even cheaper to import than to refine here. That's a game, that's a business. And then the people that are helping to push this narrative are the tank farm owners and the depot owners. Understand me? So they are not thinking of the Nigerian masses, they are thinking of their own interest. Then on what Femi Fofana said, once a product is deregulated, you don't fix price anymore. It will now be determined by the market forces, that's demand and supply. So that you have deregulated a product and you are still fixing prices means that there's no full deregulation. An instance, nobody mentions kerosene anymore because kerosene has been fully deregulated. Nobody mentions diesel anymore because diesel has fully been regulated. What the presidency did when the cost of diesel began to go high is to remove the VAT that importers were paying on the importation.
Well, taking a look at the average Nigerian businessman and the way they operate, taking a look at all of the practices, sharp practices of the tank farm owners, the international oil companies, and so on and so forth. Is it safe for Nigeria that the consumer will be protected under a deregulated energy sector like the oil sector? Is it safe? Because it looks like these guys all collude together and maintain sharp practice without being checked, or sometimes they even checkmate the NNPCL to do their bidding. So how do the masses benefit from a deregulated energy sector?
Well, in every economy in the world, the essential commodities are subsidized anywhere in the world.
Okay.
Energy is subsidized in the United States. The headquarters of IMF is in New York. In New York, power is being subsidized. Energy is being subsidized for low-income earners. Because these are the few things that the masses benefit from government, or the subsidy. Understand me? But these people, they go and copy something and begin to abuse it. They go and copy something and begin to manipulate it. Nigerian government is like people that go to a newspaper stand on every morning and read only what is on the front page.
And start arguing.
And start arguing.
As if they've read everything
Understand?
for the past 20 years.
That a different thing is inside. So this is how they operate. They go and just copy something and begin to abuse. So they are not thinking about the Nigerian masses.
So we are saying the regulation is faulty.
No, ordinarily,
in a sinner crime, it's supposed to work.
Government should have found a way of protecting or taking care of the masses.
But the masses have been left to the mercy of the stakeholders in the oil sector.
Nigerian masses are always the victims. Nigerian masses have always been victims.
So when should the government step in?
Government has interest in what is happening, so they are not likely.
So they are benefiting from the way things are.
They are benefiting from the rot in the energy sector.
So what's the way forward?
Way forward is for Nigerians to begin to agitate, just like the pressure group that talk about going that to court, even though we don't have a justice system. But they say to resign to faith is to be crippled fast. So Nigerians will keep on talking, will keep on pushing until one day they will hear.
All right, talking about testing the court and see what happens alongside the likes of Falana as well, who's an activist. All right, let's go back to the next conversation. Definitely, we still have time for that, where a new plot to remove the Emir of Kano, talking about Mohammed Sanusi II, from his position in Kano State has been uncovered according to sources within the Kofa Kudu Palace. The plot is allegedly being orchestrated by powerful individuals in Kano, led by All Progressive Congress APC National Chairman Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, who is reportedly seeking to secure President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's backing to oust Emir Sanusi. The goal is to replace Emir Sanusi with a more compliant candidate, with Ganduje's ultimate aim being to assert control over the traditional institution. The plan involves convincing President Tinubu to intervene, allowing Ganduje to complete his long-standing mission to unseat Emir Sanusi. The development is part of a series of attempts by Ganduje to undermine Emir Sanusi dating back to 2020, when he played a key role in the Emir's contentious deposition, and this latest move involves leveraging presidential power to ensure Sanusi's permanent removal and surprisingly urging former Emir Aminu Ado Bayero to step down as well, supposedly to pave way for peace. All right, taking a look at this new development, what's the evidence is there to support claims that the APC's chairman is still interested in removing the Emir of Kano, talking about Sanusi the second?
What you say at the back of this is 2027. That is, and that's the only interest that Ganduje has. The next election, he doesn't care about the welfare of the people of his state. So in his mind, Sanusi may not support Tinubu's ambition in 2027. So he may be looking for another emir who will now, mind you, Kano is what you call a swing state in Nigeria. Kano is a swing state in Nigeria. It is very important, that's election-wise, because they always give more than 1 million votes. So Ganduje is thinking about the 2027 election and feel that if Sanusi remains there, it may not be easy for APC.
Okay.
So that is what is happening now, but I don't think if he is going to win, because one, Sanusi is a fighter himself. Sanusi is connected himself. So it's not going to be easy. What I should advise them is to allow peace to reign. Because when to end up and fight, it's the grass that suffers.
Okay, what role could the president play in this situation, and how might his involvement influence the outcome?
Well, traditional ruler is under the state government, not federal government. So Ganduje shouldn't force Tinubu to do what is not within his powers. Because we have local government and chieftaincy affairs, which is under the state, not in federal government. There's nothing like chieftaincy affairs. So it is the governor and the state assembly that will determine what happens between Adebayo and Sanusi. They have made their choice. They have gone for Sanusi. Ganduje, Tinubu, APC should respect that choice.
What stops the government under the APC, where the APC National Chairman, from approaching the National Assembly to create an exception where they can influence what happens in Kano, knowing that Kano is a major block in terms of block votes that goes to the APC ahead of the 2027 elections? What stops them from using the National Assembly to influence that aspect of the law?
This will imply changing the whole constitution, because local government and chieftaincy affairs is under the state.
And can they not include clauses?
It's not going to be very easy for them, and they shouldn't do what will affect you tomorrow.
We've seen that being done here and there. The national anthem, for instance, we've seen a lot of instances where policies just fly here and there. And of course, it's more like a rubber stamp National Assembly. What stops them from having something like that?
This is a different one.
Okay.
This is a different one. It's not going to be easy for Ganduje and his backers.
All right, but before we go, let's also take a look at what's happening at the Labour Party. It looks like Abure's days are numbered. And why does INEC consider Julius Abure's claim to remain the national chairman of the Labour Party illegal and unconstitutional?
According to INEC, and which is true, Abure's tenure expired in June. So, and the Congress that they conducted in Nnewi was illegal. And Abure should have known that with the stakeholders meeting in Abia, that he had been thrown under the bus. So the best thing for him is just to go to his house and sit down, because INEC has made its own decision. He shouldn't continue be fooling himself up and down. The boss has moved without him.
All right, so the days of Abure are over?
It's over. It's over.
All right, and would I say at some point that you also predicted something like this? Definitely, it shows that you're a very interesting philosopher, and of course I'll be coming to you for some advice in future, making some big decisions. I want to say big thanks, Mr. Sanusi. It's always a pleasure having you on the show, and of course flying solo, you did wonderfully and excellently well.
Thank you for having me, as always.
All right, of course, as we conclude today's edition of The Issues, we thank you for joining us. Catch us again tomorrow at the same time on our YouTube channel, Voice of the People TV. Stay connected with us on our other social media platforms at VOP TV Live. I am your host, Jerry Arpelion. Good evening.